Hello, welcome back to the show. Nice to have your company for a few moments. I want to ask you a question in this episode, and I want to, it's not really a warning, but I want to, I don't know what the word is on the second one. I want to tell you something, I suppose. I want to tell you something, Anyway, a bit all over the place this morning and enjoying my pipe, which has promptly gone out. So, we talk about farm shops a lot, support farm shops. Don't go to supermarkets because of the processed food and the chemicals and the nutrient deficient stuff. The big manufactured food, large scale production is obviously, it seems to me to be a very basic notion that if it's large scale, like so many large scale, the common denominator is the race to the bottom to make it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and competition here, there and everywhere means that food is extremely cheap. But then why is it cheap? Is it cheap because they put fillers in, they've bulked it out, or they're trying to keep it longer on the shelf life and all those things, and so chemicals go into it, which is over time not a great idea. So anyway, we support farm shops, of course. But Julia and I went to a farm shop the other day, and we go to farm shops, and there's certain ones that we favour over others. We went to this farm shop the other day, and my goodness, it seems as if farms have got the idea that they need to have a farm shop, some farms, and so that's a way of diversifying from the actual growing of whatever it is that they grow, or rearing of whatever animals they grow, or milking whatever animals they milk. And so that's great. But then I think some of them make a mistake, or perhaps they don't. Perhaps it's just commercial sense, who knows? But we went to this farm shop, and it was like the Fortnum and Masons of farm shops. It was out of the way in this beautiful little country village, and you looked at the size of the houses, and you went, aye, this is Millionaire's Row here. And so that was already going to sort of bode unwell for the farm shop, because we thought, well, if these are the houses around it, they're going to lump on a fiver on the food and say, oh, this is genuine food, this. Oh, genuine food, this. Grown somewhere, but not here. And we went into this farm shop, and it had a petting zoo. It had the farm experience. They did their own venison, which you could see in the field. And it being the summer holidays, it was busy. Grant you that. But it was like stepping into a supermarket, very up-class supermarket. Everything spick and clean, signage and various things, and all of that. Not like your backwater, rural, out-of-the-way, honest-to-God, genuine farm shop where that farm over there and that farm over there and the farm you're on has brought the produce to the shop, and it's basic, it's wholesome, it's honourable, it's grown locally and all of that. No, this one was very much a high-class farm shop, and really and truly I wouldn't have called it a farm shop except it was on a farm. And so this to me is a bit of a worry, because on the one hand it's we should get people out of supermarkets, but it just seemed when you looked on the shelf, everything was extremely overpriced for what it was. But it was the criticism that I often get when I say, we go to the farm shop and people say, well, it's the same fruit and veg, or it's the same product. And yeah, those people are right in this case. They're the higher echelons of it. It's all in fancy jars and all the rest of it, but probably the same thing. But it was extremely overpriced, and actually not what I would call, as I say, honest to God farm shop from local farms. We asked for some minute steaks because we wanted to eat something in the van on our little grill, and minute steaks is something that we enjoy doing. So we did that. And the butcher, we said to the butcher as we came in, they had its own butcher, we said, oh, we're new here, we're new customers. Right, okay. There was no sense of, oh, yeah, welcome on. We like to have new customers. It was like, and, oh, right, okay. Do you do minute steaks? Can do. Well, what have you got? And then he sort of was a bit nice after that, but didn't tenderize the minute steak. Now, when we go to Charlie's Farm Shop, where we get our raw milk and what have you, and you go for a minute steak, if they haven't got it, he says, yeah, no problem, I'll make you a minute steak, chops a nice piece of sirloin or a bit of rump or whatever meat you want, and tenderizes it and does it. He just chopped off a bit, says, is that all right? And really and truly, it was just a piece of steak. It wasn't a minute steak, and it wasn't tenderized or anything. So that was a bit of a shame. But then we went and got veg and what have you, and we lined up. And of course, they've got teenagers in there serving. So I've got nothing against the teenagers or the students who were there getting a holiday job to do stuff, but they really didn't know what they were doing. We turn up with some vegetables to go with it, you know, pepper and some onions and perhaps some new potatoes and stuff to go with this little meal that we're going to put together. And when we wait and wait and wait because there's a queue, and the guy behind the counter, this teenager, said, one woman went up and said, how much? And she held up this leek, and he said, yeah, no, that's £3.95 or something for the leek. She said, what, for this one leek? And he said, yep, that's what it's coming up on my computer. And he had no concept of how much food cost. And it didn't occur to him that nearly £4 for a single leek was a lot. So she said, hold on a second. And she went back to the thing and said, no, that's per kilo. And the teenager was going, oh, yeah, probably. I mean, he had no idea. So anyway, when we got there, we put our food, he said, oh, can you weigh them and put the price tickets on them? I said, what do you mean? And he pointed to a scales, and it was do-it-yourself weighing stuff, and put the price ticket on. And I said, well, we didn't know that, because now we would have to come out of there and then queue again. And, you know, it's holiday time, so there's loads of kids and stuff, and families buying things. So we went off and did that. And I said to him, you know, you want a big signage. Can you tell whoever's in charge here, you need a big signage to say, weigh your stuff? Because if you're new here and you don't know, you end up doing what we're doing, queuing twice, or you're delaying everything while one of you goes off and does that. I said, that's not fair, is it? I said, I'd have no problem with weighing the veg myself, but just let us know when we come in, because it was just a tiny little round the corner scale. But it was all very modern. It was all very, it was too modern. It was too classy. It was too expensive. And it wasn't, to me, what a farm shop is about. If I want that, I'll go to a supermarket. If I want that, I'll go to Fortnum and Mason's. You know. I want a basic, decent farm shop with the farmer sitting there weighing out the spuds. How much meat do you want? Chop, chop, chop. You know, Charlie's Farm Shop is nice and clean, is well presented, and the service is exceptional. This place, I mean, we're not going back. We would not go back. And that is a bit of it's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame. It was too commercialised, and that is one of the problems, that when the arrow swings the other way, you know, it's like, get people into the farm shop, but don't then have to have the farm shop to the nth degree that it's trying to be a supermarket. That's not in my mind, that's not what a farm shop is. So anyway, that was our experience. So I'm just saying there's a thing. The second one is a question today. We're buying our land. We want to make some videos from the land. We'll need to have some internet connection from the land, I dare say, to keep messages, so we can, if we need to buy something, and know where the nearest place is to go and buy it, and all those sort of things initially. We'll be spending a lot of time on the land, and so we will need to contact people and ask advice and things like that, of course. We live in a world in which everything is done on the internet. So I had my internet bill with the particular company I am with, who I have been loyal for some time, and it was an extortionate amount of money. Now, I don't want to say how much money it was because I was embarrassed how much for 3 months it was. And I thought, no, this has got to stop. So I was advised by a friend of mine to get a 4G dongle as opposed to pay as you go. Is it pay as you go or go as you pay? One of those things. And he said you might be better with a 4G dongle because I suppose if you've got one of these pay as you go, go as you pay, whatever it is, cards, you will have to use your phone as the modem, which might or might not be any good. My phone is quite obsolete. I refuse to upgrade it. And so, yeah, so might have to get a modem. And I just wondered if anybody has had any experience with that and could, give some advice or give some experience on which service they think is not only cheap, effective, and safe to use. So that's my second question. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching today. I am enjoying the pipe when it's lit. And hopefully next week, the Biggleswick book will be off to the printers for the proofreaders before the main event gets printed. Still aiming for, I guess, late September, October, but in time for Christmas, and I'll keep you posted on all of that if you're interested. And of course, I'll keep you updated on the land process just as soon as we've got solicitors doing what the solicitors are supposed to do. Until next time, thank you for watching. Cheerio.